Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Hey, Cooker here with another edition of this week's top stock picks. And mine is a medical technology company called Penumbra. You may know that Penumbra means shadow, and we're going to learn why. This company specializes in catheter-based technologies to treat neurological events like a stroke and other vascular blood clots. And so I'm highlighting a success story where it looks like a young, fit woman probably had some sort of vascular event, maybe in her legs, maybe elsewhere, and they were able to use Penumbra technology to remove the blood clot. It actually works like a little vacuum. Let me show you their premier technology. It's called Jet 7. A lot of technical terminology here that we may not know, reperfusion, but this is one look at the technology, and it's amazing stuff. I mean, I'm crazy about a couple of different companies that specialize in catheter-based medical technologies. One of them would be Edwards Lifesciences, which can replace a heart valve using a catheter, and that's simply amazing. And then Penumbra here, treating stroke and other vascular events and blood clots, is very cool. My little handy moniker to get across the impact of this company is that the pen is mightier than the scalpel. Remember that. The pen is mightier than the scalpel. Penumbra's symbol is PEN, obviously. All right, so let's go to a recent Bull of the Day article I've written. I've probably written about Penumbra, half a dozen times over the past couple of years. I was an investor in 2018, 2019, and then, boy, the Corona crash took us out of a lot of good stocks. Penumbra was one of them. But Penumbra also had a problem with a product recall. And so in my March 10th article, if you just search Penumbra and look at the Zacks articles, you'll find this. And I go over the whole story about the recall and how the stock got really knocked down, like in a huge overreaction. And then it snapped back pretty quick in Q4. So it's, market cap is under 10 billion. And they're going to do 800 million in sales next year. So, trading about 12 times. Let me just show you here. So Penumbra, where does it take its name? It takes its name from the shadow-like effect in pathology and anatomy where the area surrounding an ischemic event, such as a thrombotic or embolic stroke, can become dark, right? So if an area of tissue is not getting blood and oxygen, it's going to start to die and turn dark. Immediately following the event, blood flow and therefore oxygen transport is reduced locally, leading to hypoxia of the cells near the location of the original insult. So Penumbra makes it its mission, get in there quickly if they can, remove the clot. So let's take a look at what happened. I mean, the stock basically, had been trading 300, got knocked down, back below 200, and the analysts basically threw in the towel. That's really what happened. They dramatically lowered their estimates. So here I've got a section: product recall hits pen and estimates, and then they were taking down price targets. They dropped EPS, obviously, but then it turned out to be a non-event. The company recovered from the product recall really quickly. So fast forward to March of 21 here. And the next year's EPS estimates bounced back 38% from $1.16 to $1.60. And then the analysts, here they are, all reversed course. Many of them had lowered the price targets down below 250, or actually below 200. And they all came roaring back once they saw this was a short-term event. Let's take a look at the estimates real quick and see where we're at. Here's our Zacks number one rank, Penumbra. Okay, so here's sales and EPS. As I said, they're expected to do 800 million next year. I mean, this year sales are growing over 20% to 680 million. solid double-digit grower next year. And, I kind of look at this company as a takeover candidate. I think J&J or somebody big like that would want this technology and bring it in-house. And look at these EPS estimates. We're going to vault over 600% this year, after the corona letdown, because, even though, stroke is not considered an elective surgery, there were probably cases where it could have been used and it wasn't, just because of the load on hospitals last year in 2020. And so even next year, look at this. So we bounce back here, 600% EPS growth. But even next year, the analysts are calling for 97% EPS growth to $1.60. That's simply amazing. Now let's talk about an innovation front here for Penumbra that I think is kind of cool. They are working with VR tools for rehabilitation. Now, I don't know, this is a new segment of their business, and I don't know the breakout revenues yet, but it seems very exciting. If they're gonna treat a stroke or a vascular event where somebody needs rehabilitation, that they are going to be a player in using VR for rehabilitation. They call it the Real System, and so they've got more information on their site here. Clinical evidence on VR and rehabilitation. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so keep an eye on Penn. As I said in my Bull of the Day article, I would be a buyer on pullbacks under 250. Here's my bottom line, the new bottom line. I've been a bull here for a while. I said, until we have nanobots programmed to cruise through our bodies performing med tech miracles, the experts in catheter-based technologies, including Edwards Life Sciences that replaces heart valves, will be in high demand. I would be a long-term buyer of Penn on the dips towards 250. All right, next up is Dave Bartosiak with his top pick of the week.
Well, thanks, Kevin. And now I've got my top stock pick of the week. It is in the shipping industry, an industry which has come to the headlines recently as the Suez Canal has been blocked by a ship that lost power. So let's take a look at this Zacks ranked #1 strong buy on the site. Danios, DAC. It is a Zacks rank #1 strong buy, as I mentioned before. Have a Zacks value style score of A, growth of C, momentum of C, for current VGM composite score of C. I mentioned before, this is in the shipping industry, which right now ranks in the bottom 25% of our Zacks industry rank. So that means that other shippers within this industry aren't in the good graces of the Zacks rank like Danios is. Of course, having a little bit of a rough day today on Monday, March 29th, but hey, they can't all be winners, can they? Let's go ahead and scroll down. I want to scroll down here to the detailed estimates to kind of show you what's happening. It's all about this current year, not just revenue growth, but also EPS growth. And if you look at the quarter, same thing. Next quarter, same thing. So current quarter revenue growth, 21.48%. Next quarter, 21.49%. Rounds out the current year at 23.68%. If you take a look on the EPS side of things are great also. So you have 114% EPS growth for the current quarter, 104% for next quarter, and it rounds out current year at 97.49. Now, that tells me there's still a little bit of money to be made this year. Now, the problem is, yes, next year things are going to slow down, but next year, I'm a dinosaur, baby. I'm talking about right now, what's happening now. And you do see that trend in estimates with analysts coming in and increasing their earnings estimate over the course of the last 30 days for current quarter and next quarter. You've seen the moves tick up a little bit, $2.89 per share right now for the current quarter. If you look at next quarter, we went from $3.44 up to $3.50. So those are some pretty solid moves, nice and positive there. If you take a look at the surprise history, we've got a little bit of a streak going on here with a decent beat. Well, a beat, okay, last quarter, a beat the quarter before that, and then pretty consistently here, we've got 4 quarters in a row of earnings beats to the upside. That's helping fuel this move higher. So is the move over? We're facing a little bit of a pullback here, but like I said, these current year numbers are still very strong. May want to keep an eye on this one for the pullback. So that's why I'm naming Deneos, ticker DAC, my top stock pick of the week. Those are the only 2 picks that Kevin and I have for you here. But if you want more, check out www.zacks.com/promo for this week's promotion on our biotech report. You're sure to find a couple of gems in there. So for Kevin and I and everybody here at Zacks, I'm Dave Bartosiak, and we'll see you guys next week.